The day before our wedding photo shoot, my boyfriend was in a car accident and lost his memory. He couldn't remember our 3 years together, only recalling his first love, Kinsley, who had disappeared after the Carter family went bankrupt. I racked my brain trying to help him recover his memory, but I accidentally overheard him chatting with his friends. I only got together with her to spite Kinsley. Now that Kinsley is back, she's useless. Once she gives up, I'll cancel the wedding and I'll be free. But when I really threw the ring in my hand into the trash can and turned to leave, the refined man disregarded the dirt and his eyes turned crimson. 1. I've canceled the wedding banquet I booked, I told the hotel manager, ignoring the surprised look on his face. Are you sure about this, miss? This banquet hall is very difficult to book, and if you cancel, we won't be able to help you restore it, the manager reminded me. Cancel what? Carter and Kinsley walked out of our bedroom. The woman was still wearing my silk pajamas, revealing a large expanse of white skin, and was leaning against Carter. When she saw me, Kinsley said coquettishly, Sister, I accidentally got my clothes wet last night, so Carter just gave me your clothes. You won't mind, will you? Before I could answer, Carter was quick to speak. How can they be her clothes? I bought all these for my future wife. A blush crept up Kinsley's cheeks as she lowered her head shyly. There are other people here. So what if there are? I just want to tell certain people that no matter if I have amnesia or not, the only person I love is you. A week ago, Carter got into a car accident on his way to take wedding photos. When he woke up, not only were his legs injured, but he had also lost his memory. He forgot the 3 years we were together and only remembered Kinsley, his first love from childhood. With the wedding date approaching, I tried every means to help Carter recover his memory. But not only did it have no effect, but it also made the man resent me more and more. Until recently, I accidentally overheard him talking to someone else in the hospital, and I realized that the amnesia was just a ruse. On the other end of the phone, the manager was silent, obviously having heard the commotion here. I calmly told the phone, cancel it. After hanging up the phone, I picked up my suitcase by my feet and prepared to leave. Carter stopped me. Wait, he frowned. Where are you going? I paused. Lark went back to her hometown for a few days, so I'm going to look after her cat. Besides, I looked at the bite marks on the man's neck that hadn't faded yet. I'm afraid I'll disturb you too here. Kinsley's eyes instantly filled with tears. It's my fault, I made my sister unhappy. You're about to get married. You can't ruin this marriage because of me. I'll just leave. As she said that, she was about to leave, but Carter grabbed her and held her tightly in his arms. What are you talking about? I've told you, you'll always be the only bride for me. Then the man gave me a cold look. If you want to leave, then leave. Once you're gone, don't come back. If it were in the past, I would definitely argue with Kinsley. But now, I just calmly said, don't worry, and then turned and left, ignoring Carter's gloomy expression. As soon as I left the neighborhood, I received a message from Kinsley. See, I told you, Carter has always loved only me, you're just a substitute. I didn't believe it before. I firmly believed that Carter only chose Kinsley because he had lost his memory. After all, the Carter who was with me would cook for me personally because of a word from me, and he would also wash my dirty underwear for me so that I wouldn't touch cold water during my period. But only after hearing Carter pretend to lose his memory for Kinsley did I understand. Kinsley was right. I was just a substitute. Carter was kind to me, but he was just transferring his feelings for Kinsley to me. Now that the real owner is back, I, the fake, should leave. 2. I'm here to resign, I told the HR manager, handing her my resignation letter. The HR manager was surprised. Marin, are you sure you want to leave? I knew what she was surprised about. 3 years ago, when Carter's family company was in crisis, I joined the company with my project and funds without hesitation. Not only did I solve their urgent financial needs, but the project I developed also earned a lot of money for Carter's family company over the past 3 years. Everyone in the company knew how deeply I loved Carter. Now, with the wedding approaching, I chose to resign at this time, which was obviously strange. I didn't explain much. I'm following the company's procedures. Is there any problem? The HR manager smiled. There's no problem with the procedure, but I still need to show your resignation letter to President Carter. I hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Carter should be eager for me to leave, and he definitely won't hold up my resignation letter. Even if he did, it wouldn't matter. I've made up my mind to leave. I informed the friends who had received invitations about the cancellation of the wedding. They were all very surprised and asked me what had happened. I didn't mention Kinsley. I just said that Carter had a car accident a few days ago and was not physically fit to get married. But 2 days later, I received a call from the man. Carter's furious voice came from the other end of the phone. Maren, how vicious can you be? To force Kinsley away. You even went to tell my mom. I frowned. Carter, can you stop biting people like a mad dog? If I really wanted to tell her, I would have done it a long time ago. Why wait until now? Carter's mother had never liked Kinsley. 3 years ago, when Carter's company was in crisis, Kinsley abandoned Carter, which made Aunt Neve detest her deeply. Just hearing the name Kinsley would make her tremble with anger. If you hadn't told her, how would my mom know that Kinsley was back? She went directly to Kinsley's house, and now the whole building knows that Kinsley is the mistress. I couldn't help but say, were they wrong? Isn't Kinsley the mistress? Carter was furious. I've told you that I've only ever had one girlfriend, Kinsley. How could she be a mistress? Give you 10 minutes, come over and apologize to Kinsley immediately. Since you caused the problem with my mom, you come and solve it. Before I could speak, Carter hung up the phone. I thought about it and decided to go. It wasn't for Kinsley or Carter, but for Aunt Neve. I was afraid that she would get sick from anger. After all, Aunt Neve had been really good to me over the years. 3. When I arrived, Aunt Neve was sitting on the sofa in the living room, and Kinsley was wiping her tears with her head down. Carter looked gloomy, and when he saw me, he seemed to find an outlet for his anger, strode over, grabbed my wrist tightly and said, Maren, you're finally here. I frowned slightly. Let go of me. Carter, what are you doing? Hearing Aunt Neve's voice, the man released my hand. Maren, come here, good girl. I walked over, and Aunt Neve patted my hand. Maren, Carter is being unreasonable now, but you know how good he was to you before. When he remembers you, he will definitely regret it. I didn't say anything. Carter hadn't lost his memory at all, so how could he remember it? Aunt Neve seemed to see something, and said loudly, Maren, our Carter family only recognizes you as our daughter-in-law. No matter what tricks others use, they can't step into the door of my Carter family. Kinsley's face turned pale. It was obvious that she was saying this to her. She bit her lip, and her sobs grew louder. Carter felt so sorry that he ignored me and his mother, and hugged her in his arms, coaxing her softly. Mom, what did Kinsley do wrong? Why can't you accept her? Aunt Neve was so angry that her voice suddenly rose. What did she do wrong? 3 years ago. Her voice stopped abruptly. I knew she was afraid of bringing up the past and touching on Carter's sadness again. After all, when Kinsley left, he, a once proud young man, became so depressed that he went to bars to drown his sorrows every night. But Carter seemed to have forgotten the depressed self who was abandoned at that time, and all he could see was his childhood sweetheart. Aunt Neve couldn't persuade Carter, so she could only persuade me. Maren, wait a little longer. Didn't the doctor say there's still a possibility that his memory will recover? When he remembers everything, you can go back to the way you were before. It's okay if the wedding is canceled, just postpone it. Hearing this, Carter, who was comforting Kinsley, suddenly turned to look at me. You canceled the wedding? I didn't understand where the hidden anger in his tone came from, and I didn't want to care. I just shook my head gently at Aunt Neve. I'm sorry, Aunt Neve, I've thought it through. I took off the ring on my finger and placed it on the coffee table. Carter looked at the ring, and his expression changed. Maren, what do you mean? He bought it for me when he proposed. At that time, Carter's family was bankrupt, and all our savings were invested in his studio, so we didn't have much money. Passing by a handmade silver jewelry store, Carter pulled me in and made this ring for me himself. And now, I'm giving the ring back to him, along with this wrong relationship. I looked at him and said calmly, I've thought it through. Feelings can't be forced. Since you still have feelings for Miss Kinsley, I won't be the one to break up a happy couple. Carter, I've canceled the wedding. From now on, we have nothing to do with each other. 4. Before Marin and I could say anything, Kinsley feigned tears and said, Sister Marin, I know you mind that Carter still has feelings for me, but there's no need to force Carter to break off the engagement. Carter reacted, sneered and said, Do you think you can force me to marry you with a broken ring? You want to break off the engagement? Fine, I agree. Mom, you must have heard. It's not me who wants to break off the engagement, but your beloved daughter-in-law who gave up first. Aunt Neve was too lazy to look at him anymore. She just held my hand and said, Marin, are you sure about this? I nodded. She sighed. Forget it, my son is not worthy of you. I said softly, I came here today to say goodbye to you. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Carter seem to glance over, but he quickly turned his head away, as if nothing had happened. After saying goodbye to Aunt Neve, I was about to leave. As I was about to step out of the door, the man's voice, filled with anger, came over. If you step out of this door today, don't ever think about coming back. I smiled lightly and stepped over the threshold. Don't worry, Carter, I'll never come back. 5. I have a 6-month non-compete clause after leaving the company. I also want to take this half year to relax. The wedding photography studio I booked called me to ask if I still wanted to take the photos. I had forgotten about that. Come to think of it, of all the wedding procedures, what I looked forward to most was not the wedding but the wedding photos. Everyone says that photos are memories of time. But for me, an orphan, no one has taken photos of me. From childhood to 18 years old, there are only a few photos, either a group photo of the orphanage or a group photo of my grade at graduation. I haven't taken any personal photos. The wedding photo was my first meaningful life photo. Carter knew my obsession. That night, while kissing me softly, he whispered, When we get married, I'll definitely take the most beautiful and luxurious wedding photos for you. In the end, he broke his promise. I didn't cancel the package. Instead, I changed the wedding photo to a solo portrait. I went to the photo studio to take pictures. I really liked the big wedding dress I had ordered, so I put it on and took pictures directly. Just after finishing the indoor shoot and preparing to move outdoors, I ran into Carter and Kinsley, who came together. The woman was leaning on Carter's arm, as if she was going to hang on him, and was listening to the clerk explain with great interest, occasionally coquettishly saying, I like this set, Carter. Shall we take it together? Carter looked down at his phone and nodded casually, looking distracted. I glanced at them and was about to leave with my skirt. Kinsley saw me. Sister Marin, what a coincidence. Why are you here too? Carter turned his head abruptly and saw the white wedding dress on me, a hint of joy flashing in his eyes. Kinsley stood up and walked towards me, deliberately stepping on my white train. I frowned and scolded. Are you blind? Kinsley immediately reddened her eyes. I'm sorry, Sister Marin. I didn't see it. I didn't mean it. Looking at the mark left on the skirt, I felt a little impatient. But the woman ignored my cold face and said coquettishly, Sister Marin, are you here alone? Or is there a brother-in-law with you? She looked around, as if she was really looking for someone. I found it funny. Does it matter to you whether I'm taking pictures alone or not? But sister, you're wearing a wedding dress. Shouldn't you be taking pictures with someone? She blinked her eyes, pretending to be naive, and turned to Carter. Carter, come and see. Sister Marin's wedding dress is so beautiful. Carter walked over with his pockets in his hands. For some reason, his expression was a bit cold. He didn't even look at me, and said dotingly to Kinsley, I like it, let's take it too. But Kinsley glanced at me. Sister will be angry. Carter immediately put his arm around her shoulder. What does she have to be angry about? Then he turned to the stunned clerk and said, We'll take the most expensive and best couples package in your store, and we'll take it now. Sir, we need to do a styling design for you and this lady. We may not be able to take it today. If you can't take it, why are you running a store? Carter sounded like he had eaten gunpowder. I pay for it, so serve me. I said I'm taking it today, so I'm taking it today. The clerk's expression suddenly became indescribable. Only Kinsley had a coquettish look on her face. "Carter, you're so kind to me." Carter curled his lips and glanced at me deliberately. I didn't bother to pay attention to this pair of idiots, and turned to leave with the photographer. 6. But before we took a few pictures, Carter came over holding Kinsley in a new white wedding dress. I felt disgusted and wanted to change places. Kinsley was relentless. "Sister, don't you like me? Why do you want to leave as soon as I come?" I looked at her as if she were insane. It's nonsense. Am I not going to stay here and watch the two of them perform this old-fashioned drama of first love and childhood sweethearts? I turned to leave, but Carter grabbed my hand. Kinsley's face changed. "Carter, go ahead and take pictures, be good." After Kinsley reluctantly left, the man turned to me. "Marin, do you think you can attract my attention this way? Are you sick?" I frowned. "Let go of me." Carter grabbed me even tighter, staring at me fixedly. "You found out about my schedule with Kinsley and deliberately came here to get my attention." I just found it ridiculous. Carter continued talking to himself. "I've thought about it. Mom's been in poor health recently and needs someone to take care of her. As long as you don't interfere with my relationship with Kinsley, I can marry you." Hearing this, I couldn't bear it anymore. "Carter, don't you think what you're saying is ridiculous? What do you mean, you're doing me a favor by marrying me, bringing me home to take care of your family, and then you can go out and have fun yourself?" I had always been gentle with Carter, and even when we had the biggest arguments in 3 years, I had never spoken to him so harshly. The man was stunned for 2 seconds, then looked at me incredulously. I shook his hand off and said coldly, "As for what you said about deliberately finding out about your schedule with Kinsley, that's nonsense. If you don't believe me, go ask the store. I made an appointment to come here for a photo shoot a few days ago. It's you and Kinsley who bumped into me. Don't blame me." I looked at him coldly. "Now please let go." Carter was confused by my behavior. Until I walked far away, he was still standing there stupidly. After finishing the rest of the photos, I went home. After thinking about it, I decided to go out and play for a while, far away from that pair of idiots. I bought a plane ticket and left the next day. 7. I've been so busy with work for the past 3 years that I finally have some time to rest. I made a plan to travel around the country, and my first stop was to see the snow in the north. As I enjoyed the hot springs at the foot of CB Mountain, all the unhappiness and resentment in my heart seemed to be washed away by the snowflakes falling outside the window. Meeting Blake was an accident. I slipped and fell while climbing the mountain, and he caught me. Later, I found out that we were staying at the same hotel. We had a pretty good chat. He's still a college student and came to CB Mountain for a vacation. When I returned to my room that night, Blake blocked my door. "Can I stay here for the night?" Looking at his hot and undisguised gaze, I curled my lips. "So soon?" "Yes." I knew from the beginning that Blake had different feelings for me. I just didn't expect him to be so straightforward. Looking at his handsome face, I was a little moved, but I still said the ugly things first. "A one-night stand is fine, but I can't give you anything else besides that." Blake leaned down, and his breath became hot. "Let's start with a one-night stand." The kiss landed. He bit my lip, and I was not polite, pushing him against the wall. The man let out a muffled groan, then picked me up. In the middle of the entanglement, the phone rang inappropriately. Blake paused, and I only glanced at the caller ID before pulling his neck down and continuing to kiss. Not answering. It's not important. Who knows what crazy thing Carter is up to? I thought he would hang up soon if he couldn't get through, but the phone kept ringing, as if he wouldn't give up until he got through. I impatiently furrowed my brow. Seeing this, Blake seemed to understand something. Ex-boyfriend? No. I picked up the phone. Ex-fiancé. As soon as I answered the phone, Carter's questioning voice came through. "Marin, where have you been? Why aren't you at work?" "President Carter, I submitted my resignation a month ago, and HR has approved it." Blake was messing around behind me, and I couldn't help but moan. Carter exploded instantly. "Marin, where are you now? What are you doing?" I pulled the man's mischievous hand and said, "President Carter, I've resigned from my job You can't control me, and personally, you don't seem to have the right to control me either. After saying that, I hung up the phone directly and blocked Carter's number. So my sister has such a bad temper. I bit his lip. I don't have a good temper with people who don't deserve it. He looked at me with a dark expression. What about me? I lifted his chin and smiled wantonly. You? We'll talk about it later. The man scattered my words with a kiss. I stayed at the foot of CB Mountain for a while, and my cooperation with Blake became more and more familiar. Just I didn't expect to see Carter here. He appeared in front of me with red eyes. Marin, I finally remember you. 8. At the barbecue restaurant, I listened to Carter babble on and on. To summarize, he recovered his memory. He remembered everything we had been through and knew he was wrong, and wanted to make up with me. Marin, will you forgive me? Looking at the man's expectant eyes, I suddenly felt like laughing. Carter, with your acting skills, why don't you just join the entertainment industry? If I didn't know the truth, I might have been fooled. Carter's face turned slightly pale. Marin, what do you mean by that? I folded my arms. You're still pretending, aren't you? If you had the courage to admit that you cheated, I might even respect you, but your scummy and pretentious act is really disgusting. Marin. Stop. We have nothing to do with each other now. Please call me MS. Marin. Carter said anxiously. Marin, I know you're still mad at me, but I didn't remember anything back then. Are you going to blame someone who lost their memory in a car accident? I curled my lips. Carter is still confusing right and wrong. If I really blamed him for losing his memory, I would have turned and left the first time he hurt me for Kinsley. How could I have foolishly done so much for him? I still remember standing at the door of the ward and hearing Carter's voice. I only got together with her to spite Kinsley. Now that Kinsley is back, she's useless. Once she gives up, I'll cancel the wedding and I'll be free. After being in love for 5 years and dating for 3 years, I never expected to hear such words from my fiancé-to-be. Before I could react, the door to the ward opened. The person who opened the door was startled. Marin, you're here. He raised his voice deliberately, so that everyone in the room could hear. Everyone's eyes focused on me, especially Carter, who narrowed his eyes and looked at me coldly. What are you doing here? I squeezed my palm, trying to make myself look as usual as possible. I made some pork bone soup. I put the thermos on the table. You hurt your leg. The vigilance in Carter's eyes disappeared, and he frowned. Take it away. I told you I don't know you. Why are you so persistent? I looked at him quietly. Seeing that I wasn't speaking, Carter simply swept the thermos off the table. The lid shattered, and most of the hot soup spilled on me, and I cried out in pain. Carter sneered, so you can speak. Why are you pretending to be mute? But the next second, his expression became tender. Kinsley, you're here. Someone bumped my shoulder hard, and I fell to the ground without a steady footing. Kinsley came over to help me up. Sister Marin, are you okay? It's all my fault. I was so worried about Carter's condition that I didn't notice you. I subconsciously avoided her hand. Kinsley's eyes immediately filled with tears. It's all my fault, Sister Marin. Don't be angry, I'm sorry. Carter hated to see Kinsley cry. It has nothing to do with you that she fell down. He said coldly. Marin, do you think you can provoke a rift between me and Kinsley with these little tricks? I tell you, I will only marry Kinsley in this life, and if you're sensible, you'll just leave. Kinsley said softly, Sister, Carter is angry now, why don't you just leave? I got up from the ground in embarrassment. There was a long scratch on my finger from a piece of broken glass, and it was bleeding profusely. Carter, who used to feel sorry for me even if I got a small cut, only glanced at it and then looked away. He took Kinsley into his arms. At that moment, I was like a clown. Everyone was laughing at me. They even made fun of my background. Carter saw that I wasn't speaking, and he felt a little flustered. Marin. He reached out to grab me, but I dodged. Carter, stop pretending. I know you've never lost your memory. 9. As soon as I finished speaking, the man's body froze. He seemed to want to squeeze out a smile. Marin, you. I interrupted him. I heard everything in the hospital that day. You want to marry Kinsley? You could have told me directly. Why bother pretending to lose your memory? Carter was finally completely panicked. No, it's just that I was confused at the time. Kinsley abandoned me back then. How could I be with her? I just wanted to get revenge on her, make her think she had won me over, and then abandon her cruelly, just like she left me 3 years ago. Marin, it was all an act. I never thought of giving up on you. I laughed. I took out my phone and clicked on a photo. So you mean to say, sleeping with Kinsley was also an act? Looking at the photo on the screen, Carter was completely stiff. These explicit photos must have been taken by Kinsley when he wasn't paying attention. Carter wanted to control her, but she also wanted to control Carter. It's just a dog biting a dog. With that said, I didn't want to stay any longer, so I took out my phone and prepared to leave. Carter stood in front of me, his voice hoarse. Marin, I really know I was wrong. Can't you give me another chance? I looked back at him calmly. Carter, do you remember what I told you when we first got together? Carter's pupils shrank, and his lips trembled. I answered for him. I told you that I have a very serious cleanliness fetish, and I won't have anything that others have touched. As far as I'm concerned, Carter is just a cake that has been bitten by others. But you've liked me for so many years. Are you really willing to give up? I smiled. It turns out that Carter also knew that I liked him for many years. I was an orphan, and it was the Carter family who sponsored my university studies. The first time I saw Carter, he was standing with Kinsley, wearing a luxurious custom-made suit, and his every move was full of elegance and nobility. I fell in love with him at first sight. I studied hard in university and participated in various competitions, just so that one day I could stand on the same level as Carter. When I found out about his relationship with Kinsley, I chose to hide my feelings. It wasn't until Carter's family was in trouble and Kinsley left that I dared to reveal my heart slightly. But I was wrong. The Carter I liked was just a shadow I had imagined. And the real Carter is weak and despicable, full of vices. Anyway, thank you for sponsoring my studies, Carter family. But I think I've paid back what I owe the Carter family for the past 3 years, Carter. Let's not see each other again. 10. I returned home from CB Mountain the next day. I've already received a reply to my newly submitted resume, and I'm going to take up a new position at a new company. I heard from a friend that Kinsley actually returned to China because her family's business failed, and they owed a lot of money. And the Kinsley family wanted to form a marriage alliance with the Carter family to get funds. But Aunt Neve wouldn't let Kinsley marry in. In the past, Carter was on Kinsley's side, but now that Carter himself doesn't care, Kinsley is alone and left in a hurry. At that time, I was joining a new company. On the first day of reporting, HR took me to my office. Our general manager has been very interested in Marin's project. He was so happy when he received your job application. I didn't expect the CEO of the new company to be my fan. While I was tidying up the office, the door was suddenly knocked. I said, "Come in." Someone came in, and a familiar voice sounded in my ear. "How is it? Are you satisfied with the office?" I was stunned and looked up in surprise. "Blake, how come it's you?" "Coincidentally, I'm the CEO of this company." I narrowed my eyes. "Didn't you say you were still in college?" He shrugged. "Family business, just hanging out here." "So that's how it is. Then do you have something to do?" "Because of Carter. I don't have a good impression of these second-generation rich kids. Sister is so cruel. You didn't even say hello when you left." Blake looked at me resentfully, as if I had done something wrong. After a while, he curled his lips. "But luckily I found you." I narrowed my eyes. "What do you want?" "Get to know each other again." He smiled lightly. "I'm Blake. Nice to meet you, sister."